Good morning.
Good morning. How are you on this warm Friday?
I'm warm.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
No, it
You
is
your
blistering
shoot
hot.
yesterday was very, yes. It's like, I think we're going to get to over 40 again today.
Yeah, no, yesterday I was shooting in a factory in Piketberg, and it was like I had to alternate between cameras because they were overheating inside there. It was hectic.
Yeah, which brings us to the rapidly ripening deciduous fruit crop and the slow movement in the harbors.
Yeah,
And
but
that's
before
what,
we talk about that, let's just have a chat about what this heat has brought on in the Western Cape. Is the massive amount of fires. Here in Worcester, where we live, we've actually on when did we go to Traval? On Tuesday. Monday evening was actually quite hair-raising because the fire was coming closer to the part of Worcester that I live in, to such an extent that I was actually a bit worried that there might be houses in threat, but it all subsided by itself, which is what some of the people said, a miracle in its own.
and the aerial photographs that we've been seeing from taken all over the Western Cape and on Landwater, by the way, there's some amazing photographs. You can see how much smoke there is, because for the last 2 days we have struggled to see the mountains. So it's been incredibly hot, and whether it was the smoke or whatever, but we had a massive thunderstorm in the Hex River Valley region yesterday and last night. And there have been some reports of hail. Don't have any idea how bad it is or anything, can't make any predictions. But we had a big thunderstorm, there was rain, and I think there was some hail. So
Yeah,
if
well,
anybody knows any more, you can let us know.
Yeah, obviously these thunderstorms came on because of the massive amount of smoke in the air at the moment, which is a catalyst for forming clouds, and a lot of heat, a lot of moisture rising up very quickly. So it was almost like, if you can say, the perfect conditions for everything. Perfect conditions for fires, perfect conditions for thunderstorms. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and the heat of February lies ahead. So
yeah, last night when I was driving back, I could the mountains on the other side of Rawson were burning up towards the Tuinskloof Dam, and the flames were so big that I could see the flames from Botha Wansala. So, for those that don't know, as the crow flies, you're looking at probably about 15 kilometers. As the crow flies, direct line of sight, and it was massive flames in those mountains. So hectic.
Yeah, so the Western Cape is burning. For anybody anybody who lives here is very aware of it, because the massive amount of smoke. But the heat ripens the fruit super fast. And some of the growers that we've been speaking to were saying, instead of their things ripening this variety and then next week the next variety, this heat is making everything ripen together, which means they've got to get it through their sheds and get it through the ports. So we are back on the ports again today, dear Walt. You've picked a nice article from Fresh Plaza.
Okay.
Let me do the intro. Cape Town's busiest specialized reefer deciduous fruit season in almost 20 years. So in the last 2 decades, the movement from reefer vessels to containers has been ongoing, and all around the world, and in Cape Town as well. And with the drama happening in the container port, here we have it: Cape Town's busiest specialized deciduous fruit season in almost 20 years.
So this is conventional reefer ships loading.
This is where, for those who maybe don't know, this is where you open the top part of the ship and you load a big hold full of many pallets that stand next to each other. They are not loaded into refrigerated containers. Some of these ships do have refrigerated containers on the decks as well, but the bulk of the fruit is moved as freestanding pallets in the hold.
Yeah, and it's different. It's the ones that we saw in Durban was about 4 stories deep. It's quite an interesting thing to see.
Yes, indeed. So, Cape Town.
What we must just mention with that is that to be able to do that, you need to pack your pallets differently.
Yes.
For high cube containers, you can pack a much higher pallet, where with these, you need to pack a lower pallet, which means less fruit, less boxes per pallet, more pallets per shipment.
And from what I understand, it works out more expensive per carton to ship. But more expensive in getting it to the market is better than it sitting on the edge of the harbor and not going anywhere and rotting, which is what is happening. So very interesting to see that this is happening. It says, shall I read the paragraph, dear Veld? In November and December, we had 2 vessels for the pre-Christmas fruit, and thereafter we had planned to offer a bi-weekly specialized reefer vessel service to Europe and the UK from week 2 to about week 12 from Cape Town. That bi-weekly service became a weekly service, and already as from week 3, we are introducing a second vessel per week up until week 6 to assist the industry to ship the maximum available cargo, says Charles Gantz, Managing Director of Anland Shipping, South African agent for sea trade and cool carriers. So, wow. From this, at least this provides an option to the deciduous fruit industry desperately trying to get fruit out of South Africa. Provides them with another option. Yes, it might be more expensive, and yes, they have to tailor the pallets to being lower in order to get it out. But here we go. So at least something. There's some good news.
And the thing what makes it easier to load these ships, they are a little bit smaller than the big container vessels. They only take fruit, so it's the whole thing is a refrigerator basically, and they've got their own cranes, so they don't need to rely on the cranes from the harbor to put the stuff into the hold. They swing their own cranes out, hook it, put it in, get it done.
Yes, indeed, they are smaller than the big container ships, so they're still not going to solve the entire problem. They're certainly helping, though. It says here, Anland Shipping has a dedicated quay at Fresh Produce Terminals, a privately run terminal in the port of Cape Town, dedicated for European and Russian trade. For that, we as an industry must be extremely grateful, Gantz comments. During the citrus season, we are equally busy from Cape Town, but the last time we were this busy with grapes and stone fruit was 17 years ago in 2007. So at least there's some good news there.
Yeah, well, there's good news for them as well, because obviously their bank accounts will be looking good after this.
Yes. But at least it's a ray of hope in a very difficult situation.
Yes. Then on another one, let me just remove this one, which I also saw. It also ties in with shipping. It's a little bit different. Okay. South Africa ships first goods under the African Free Trade, Africa Continental Free Trade Area. First shipment went out of the port of Durban on January the 31st. Okay, President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to attend the launch ceremony at Durban Container Terminal 2 on the sidelines of the 13th AFC FTA Council of Ministers, which started in the port city on Tuesday. Minister of Trade, Ibrahim Patel, KZN Premier. Now, it's also another sideshow for our government just to be in the limelight again. South Africa is the first among the 4 Southern African Customs Union countries to realize this agreement practically. The 37th African Union, it's a whole lot of things here, but it doesn't say much.
Okay.
Yeah, broaden economic inclusion, and it doesn't say what was shipped. It was a container, obviously. Doesn't say what was in that container. It could have been an empty container for all we care with just so that they can be in the limelight before the elections. Which could very well be true.
So there's an article about something that we don't really understand.
No, we understand it, that the first, under this free trade thing that they organized, the first shipment from South Africa has gone. But where it went, what went, is not mentioned. It's just about everybody that's going to be present at this press conference. Again, like I said, it looks like it's a big sideshow to what's actually going on.
And also, we don't know what the African Continental Free Trade Area, what that is. Obviously, this is something that we would need to know later. It's good that Freight News is putting out these articles, and maybe there will be more of this so that we can understand better.
Yeah, we would love to. We would love to hear what was in that container and where it was shipped. For our own interest, just for our own knowledge.
Yes. Anyway, and then do you want to speak about the what's happening at the container port in Cape Town terminal? There is an article there.
We might as well. We're busy with it.
Yes. So we've spoken about Transnet, MoneyWeb. Yeah. Transnet ups Cape Town port's capacity to rescue fruit export season. Yeah. So
okay. The Cape Town Container Terminal has taken on dozens of new hires in hopes of rescuing a disastrous deciduous fruit export season, with port capacity hobbled by lack of capacity and bad weather. Okay, new hires, is that new people working for them? That's how I read it. How are these people trained in loading of fruit? The terminal operator, Transnet Port Terminals, on Tuesday announced the hiring of 62 new employees and an increase in the number of transport haulers from 33 to 44 to cope with the heightened demand of fruit exports this month. Deciduous fruit volumes through the container terminal dropped 14% this season compared to last, largely due to lack of capacity and bad weather, with wind speeds up to 100 knots an hour. Okay, so 62 new people, are they going to hold up windshields for us?
Yes, well, it says here, another 3 cranes are undergoing final testing before handover to operations. But this is all it's a little bit late in the season. And we can quote Anton Rabe, the executive director at Deciduous Fruit Governing Body, Hortgrow, last week told MoneyWeb at midday that the port backlog was a disaster for the industry, with some producers now looking at alternative ports such as Walvis Bay and the Eastern Cape. So, yeah, thank goodness there is another option in Cape Town, but this is a huge problem, and it's going to really come back and hit the growers in the pocket, because if the stuff is not getting away, and I mean, the receivers are also, we've heard the receivers they are concerned about the quality from South Africa, and this is being created by our government.
But again, this is another article where it states something, but it doesn't give more info. So the man on the street who reads this, that has got even a lot less more knowledge than what we do, is what are they supposed to make out of from this? The people need to get more of the right info out there so that people can actually know what the hell is going on.
Indeed. So this is one of those things whereby we don't know what's going on. We don't know what the situation is, and we just hope that the fruit can get on the water and get to where it needs to go as soon as possible.
Okay, so I think that is about it for today.
Indeed. And all I can say is let's hope for the very best for the growers, and that they get their stuff through the port. And well done, Fresh Produce Terminals.
Yeah, and then again, for those that didn't listen to our live with Mitchell Brooke on Wednesday morning and Jan Louis, Spoelstra, yes, sorry about that. To get the latest info of what's happening with the citrus industry and the railways and the road transport and everything, go and listen to the whole thing in bite sizes. I listen to long podcasts, 15 minutes at a time in the morning when I do my shower and get ready for the day. So it's there's a lot of very valuable info in there.
It's valuable information, and it's also very, very exciting, hopeful information, particularly on what the plans are for privatization by Transnet of the rail infrastructure. It's all still in the works. It's not out there and doesn't happen yet, but the planning is happening. And if it all comes together as we hope, we know our government. I'm saying if it all comes together as we hope, it could be incredibly exciting and bring in a whole new era for rail in our country.
Yeah. Okay. So please go listen to that. You'll find the link on all our pages. Wherever you're watching this, you'll find that link. Just scroll a little bit and see all the other cool stuff we do.
Have a good Friday.
Righto. Cheerio.
Bye.